Good evening, my dear listeners, and welcome back to Sophia's Enchanted Evenings here in the Storyteller's Garden. Tonight, I invite you to leave behind the noise of the day and step softly into the realm of moonlit secrets, a place where the quiet glow of midnight inspires our hearts to speak freely and where each whispered confession carries the promise of transformation. In this episode, Moonlit Confessions, we journey into a tender world where the delicate hours of the night cradle whispered truths and heartfelt admissions, where every shadow and beam of gentle light holds a memory waiting to be shared. Imagine yourself nestled in a cozy corner of a quaint, time-worn cafe, bathed in the soft luminescence of the moon, where solitude gracefully transforms into intimate connection. Here, a solitary soul finds the courage to unburden secrets long kept hidden deep within, sparking the gentle beginning of something beautifully new. So, dear friend, settle in, take a deep, calming breath, and allow the soft cadence of this story to wrap you in its warmth. Let the quiet confessions of the night guide you on a journey of vulnerability, hope, and the promise of fresh beginnings. Enjoy the tale. In the city of midnight hues, where neon lights danced upon rain-slicked streets and the world slumbered beneath a quilt of shimmering stars, Isabella wandered alone, her footsteps echoing softly on empty sidewalks. It was during these quiet hours, when the cacophony of the day faded into a hushed lullaby, that her heart found its truest voice. Each solitary step was a gentle reminder that there is profound beauty in solitude, and in that silence, she discovered a sacred space to confess the secrets she had long held within. Isabella was a woman who rarely revealed her inner world in the light of day. The clamor and relentless pace of daily life left little room for introspection. But as night unfurled its velvet cloak, she would retreat into the sanctuary of her cherished notebook. Beneath the soft, steady glow of a bedside lamp, she poured out her late-night confessions, intimate thoughts of regret, fleeting moments of hope, and dreams that shimmered like distant constellations against the dark expanse. In those quiet moments, the heavy weight of unsaid words and unexpressed emotions would gradually lift, replaced by the catharsis of raw, honest truth. One such night, drawn by an inexplicable pull that seemed to emanate from the very depths of her soul, Isabella found herself compelled to step through the doorway of a quaint cafe that only opened when the city was draped in darkness. Known as the Midnight Café, this secret haven exuded a comforting warmth. Its faded wooden tables, soft strains of jazz drifting through the air, and a scattering of solitary souls, each seeking refuge from their own isolation. Here, the magic of confession assumed a communal form, transforming vulnerability into a shared solace. Seated in a shadowed corner with her treasured notebook and a steaming cup of chamomile tea cradled in her hands, Isabella listened intently to the gentle murmur of hushed conversations and the delicate clinking of porcelain. Amid the soft din, her eyes were drawn to a solitary figure at a nearby table, a man whose soulful eyes exuded both mystery and a quiet, empathetic sorrow. His presence was magnetic, and she would later learn his name was Julian. Like her, he was a creature of the night, drawn by an unspoken need for solace and expression that resonated deeply within him. Their eyes met for a brief, electrifying moment, a silent exchange that spoke of mutual loneliness and the shared burden of unspoken secrets. Julian's gentle smile, though fleeting, carried the warmth of trust, and before long, he found his way to a seat across from Isabella. There were no grand introductions. Instead, they exchanged a soft nod and an unspoken understanding that the night itself was their secret confessional. What followed was a conversation as delicate and transient as the soft strains of the music playing in the background. In the muted light of the Midnight Café, Isabella and Julian began to share their stories. Julian spoke first, revealing his habit of late-night confessions, a practice forged over years of wrestling with inner demons and the fear of a world that too often misunderstood vulnerability. He admitted that in the deep silence of the night, he discovered the courage to confront the truths he had long suppressed. Isabella, who had guarded her inner world carefully during the bright chaos of daytime, found herself unexpectedly drawn to his gentle candor. With each softly spoken word, the barriers between them began to crumble, melting away like ice under the tender warmth of honesty. She, too, shared her tale of solitude, of how the pressures of daily life had driven her to seek refuge in those quiet, sacred moments when the world around her seemed to slumber. In sharing their truths, they discovered that their confessions were not merely a release of pent-up pain, but a transformative act of healing, a way to embrace their imperfections and reclaim the parts of themselves lost amid the relentless noise of the day. Under the watchful eye of a silver moon peeking through the cafe's fogged windows, their words flowed together like a slow, soothing melody. Each secret, each heartfelt admission, wove a rich tapestry of shared understanding and tender empathy. In that intimate moment, the Midnight Café transcended its physical presence, evolving into a sanctuary for the weary soul, a haven where vulnerability was not shunned, but celebrated as the essence of human connection. Night after night, Isabella returned to the Midnight Café, and with Julian's steady presence becoming a familiar and comforting beacon, their conversations deepened. They began to explore themes of lost dreams, the subtle beauty of imperfection, and the latent hope that resided in every unspoken word. They discovered that the act of confessing, of laying bare the raw, unfiltered edges of their hearts, was profoundly transformative. In sharing their darkest secrets, they uncovered a quiet strength, a resilience that whispered softly of renewal and the promise of new beginnings. There were evenings when their conversation gracefully shifted toward poetry and music. Nights when references to songs that spoke of late-night confessions and the gentle unraveling of the soul filled the air. On such evenings, Julian would sometimes hum a melancholy tune that seemed to mirror the sentiments Isabella had carefully penned in her cherished notebook. In those precious moments, they would fall into a comfortable silence, allowing the unspoken language of the night to fill the space between them. Each pause a soft exhale of hope and longing, as delicate as a whispered promise in the stillness. As the seasons shifted and the nights grew longer, the bond between Isabella and Julian evolved into something tender and profound. The simple act of meeting each night, of sharing their most intimate thoughts, had kindled a gentle flame of connection that neither had anticipated. The confessions they once guarded so closely in the solitude of their hearts now flowed freely, forming the foundation of a deep, unspoken romance. A romance that was both quietly consuming and beautifully fragile, as delicate as a whispered secret on a cool midnight breeze. One crisp morning, as the first gentle hints of dawn painted the sky in soft pastels, Isabella and Julian found themselves lingering in the quiet stillness of the cafe after closing time. The night had been long, and their conversation had led them through the intricate labyrinth of their innermost fears and hopes. In that serene pause before the world awoke, they exchanged a look, a silent promise imbued with the tender assurance of understanding and the possibilities of a shared future. It was a look that spoke of promises and potential, a vow to cherish the fragile beauty of honesty and the strength found in openness. In that profound moment, Isabella realized the transformative power of their late-night confessions. Sharing her vulnerabilities had not only lightened the burden of her solitary heart, but had also opened a door to a future brimming with hope and companionship. Julian, with his kind eyes and gentle demeanor, had become more than just a trusted confidant. He had shown her that it was perfectly acceptable to be imperfect, that the true beauty of life lay in its raw, unfiltered moments, and that even the most timid heart could learn to love with fierce tenderness. As the sun's first rays gently crept through the cafe windows, they made a quiet promise to one another, a vow to face the challenges of the coming day with the courage they had discovered in the shelter of the night. They agreed to meet again, not merely as strangers sharing whispered secrets in the dark, but as two souls united by the transformative power of confession and the quiet strength of newfound love, ready to face the world together. In the months that followed, Isabella and Julian continued to nurture the delicate, beautiful connection they had discovered under the velvet veil of midnight. The Midnight Café remained their cherished sanctuary, a timeless haven where the echoes of their confessions and the soft glow of shared dreams whispered of endless possibilities. Their journey was not punctuated by grand declarations or dramatic twists of fate, but by the gradual, gentle evolution of hearts learning to trust, to heal, and to love openly within the tender embrace of the midnight hour. Isabella began to document her late-night reflections in a heartfelt blog, a collection of confessions and musings that resonated deeply with others who, like her, sought solace in the silent hours. Julian, inspired by the transformative power of their intimate conversations, found his creative spirit rekindled, dedicating himself to a series of evocative paintings that captured the delicate essence of vulnerability and hope. Together, they learned that true strength lies in the courage to be honest with oneself and with others, and that sometimes the most profound changes begin with a single, heartfelt confession shared under a moonlit sky. As the seasons turned and the night once again cloaked the bustling city in its gentle embrace, Isabella and Julian continued to meet faithfully at the Midnight Café. Their story, a narrative of quiet transformation, shared secrets, and the healing power of vulnerability, grew into a beacon for all those seeking comfort amid the darkness. In every whispered word and every soft smile exchanged in the stillness of midnight, the promise of a brighter tomorrow shimmered like starlight, illuminating the path toward interconnected destinies and the beauty of open hearts. Thank you for joining me tonight on Sophia's Enchanted Evenings, here in the Storyteller's Garden. As we gently close the chapter on Moonlit Confessions, I invite you to pause and reflect upon the tender secrets shared beneath the soft glow of midnight. May the quiet revelations of this story remind you that vulnerability is not a weakness, but a strength, a luminous power that lights the way to new beginnings and fills our lives with hope and gentle promise. Before we part, please take a moment to share your thoughts in our weekly poll. Your reflections are the very heartbeat of our community, guiding us as we continue to craft these enchanted tales together and ensuring that every whispered truth and every soft confession helps keep the magic alive in every story we tell. And if you ever find yourself yearning for a deeper dive into mystery and soulful introspection, remember to join Evelina every Tuesday for Midnight Murmurs, where the night unfurls its hidden secrets and the spirit finds solace in the gentle shadows. Her stories, rich with quiet wonder and the allure of hidden truths, perfectly complement the tender confessions we share here, inviting you to explore the darker yet equally tender corners of your own heart. Until we meet again, dear friend, may your dreams be gentle, your heart remain ever open, and your nights be filled with the quiet magic of hope. May you carry the warmth of these moonlit confessions with you always, and may each new dawn bring with it the promise of renewed strength and a deeper connection to the beauty that resides within and all around you. Good night, and take care.